Shit. It's like I have to literally press the video and record when I'm told. It's like I came to a thought of something and it's like, oh, tell them. So I'm telling you guys. I'm in the middle of posting a video right now as I record this video. The video is from yesterday, December 30th. In it, I'm like giving you guys some information on. Oh, I'm so sore from the practical magic beatdowns. I tell you, I can make it through it, but it's just enough already. I'm here today to elaborate on some things I've told you in the past, or in the video that's uploading now. As things have been revealed to me about like why I personally was called to the Hawaiian Islands, I knew in my journey that I needed to lead others back to their roots. Why it was their roots, I didn't have the answers because I didn't know how Hawaii, I often mess that up, it's Hawaii because the Hawaiian language was actually based, there were assisted with German linguists, if that's what you call them, something like that. Anyways, to create their language. So their W's have V's, like Germans. So it's kind of like people call, the Volkswagen a symbol back, they be like VW, and people correct them on the VW. It's not W because it has a V sound. I don't know how that would even work out with a V dub having a V sound. That's two V's to me, if you ask me, but one way or another. Do your research. My understanding is the Hawaiian language that is spoken is derived from the French and Germans, and there's a lot of influence in Samoa that got transferred over to the Hawaiian Islands because Samoa was too small for all of them to conquer, and that's why a lot of Hawaiians look like Samoans, and then the Filipinos came to the islands, and all these islands came over, but the originators that took over and united the islands, the last ET ruler, a full ET, was Kamehameha the first. If you look him up, he looks like a black Jamaican. The statue of him even is black Jamaican. So on speed to you guys, after all the revelations of understanding how that's my lineage, because Jesus kept telling me, well, it's like, look at Kamehameha as like your great uncle. And I'm like, okay, and you're not really from Earth. Then he explains to me that Africans are called Africans because the people that came in from the portal there called that continent Africa. Indians, they are, and I don't know that they call themselves Indians, but he always refers to them as Indians. Those that come in and to the land of India, there's portals everywhere, right? Okay, so my connection is my Earth Father, and he is Kamehameha the second, and I didn't know that. And the thing is, he was reincarnated into a human body, which is what I grew up with, and a lot to be understood and said about that, because I haven't even checked the timelines. And the thing is, from as we see, just one area on the worldly map, things change as far as time. Well, as far as portals, things change, and they can change even more greatly as far as time. They can change from 1 hour somewhere being, my understanding is, weeks, months, even somewhere else, so it's like you could go through the the movie Interstellar with Matthew McConaughey. I was shown that when I was way too young to even comprehend what Jesus was trying to tell me, until my 100,000 piece puzzle came together. And then it was like, oh shit, That's the interstellar. That's what you're talking about. Matthew McConaughey's up in space, but he just went through a portal and come back. And did he come back? I can't remember if he came back. But the bottom line is his daughter basically grew up in seconds to him, minutes, hours to him, to where she was a full-grown lady because he left to save the world, and she missed out on having her father, and time for him was like ticking very, very fast, and it was like he was losing his life on earth to save the world. Okay. And the time basically would, it's like saying his daughter grew up to be a grown adult in 48 hours of the time that he was gone, to kind of give you an example. Don't quote me on the time frames though, as far as the movie. That's what portals are like. Okay, so the French, they came into a certain portal. Well, my understanding is there's like a group that come in over there in Europe, and they separate because they don't like the way one is doing, you know, one group, body of people or group of people. See how the English language and the spelling can fuck things up for someone who's in another language? If I say body of people, imagine if you're someone learning the English language and you're like, a body of people? Right? So, try to be wise with what you say if you really want to get your message clear, okay? To people, because we all have, even in the English language that we've grown up in, we all describe certain words differently. We translate it differently. They might have a base compass that is similar, but the whole the meaning in the end, depending on the context, changes, you know, and that can be very confusing to someone learning our language. Okay, so my earth father was Kamehameha II, is what I'm told, and I didn't learn that till just a few days ago. I've been just knowing I have lineage, I'm supposed to be here, I'm the next ET to rule these islands, and not only just these islands, the world. I am the chosen one to rule. The few that I've told, it's rubbed them the wrong way because they want to be these biblical people. And I'm like, you know, Jesus, which is the man you call Jesus Christ, he didn't want me involved in, like I bought my own Bible. I've been given Bibles. He never wanted me to read them fully. He said there's good things in there, but there's too many contradictions. And it was really designed to confuse people, because if it confuses people, they are not evolving and therefore still a slave. So he did not want me to involve myself too deeply in any religion, because his only religion, so to speak, is love, kindness, do the right thing. It's not, there's no segregation. And that's the thing that he's like, yes, as I'm trying to say, I feel, he's saying it hurts his heart that there's all these religions that are speaking for God of some sort, whether some realize there's many gods, or some realize that things should be this or things should be that. The reality is they're still divided, and that's where the evil wins, divide and conquer. And if everyone was just centralized and just do the right thing to the next person, stand up for yourself if someone's doing the wrong thing to you, that's where we begin, and we thrive, and we evolve in. It's not, we don't end in segregation and hate and all this, but at the same time, in the ideology of segregation, there was value to it, because everyone that was put on this planet Earth, banished here or stolen here, for their evolution was to just stay focused and get up out of here. Not make families, not mix and mingle, that was all bullshit. And so it was a trap, okay? And whereas people didn't need to mistreat the other races, they shouldn't have. It would have been best if they didn't, just to stay focused. Because once they were mixing with the other races, that's just touching low vibe sexual energy for most people. It takes a very strong and conscious mind to mix with someone that some other culture that's completely different. And then when you know the two cultures that are residing on the two realms between Earth, including Earth, and then the beyond, where all the planets, basically everyone's from, you'd understand, hey, you're on here to get home. Whether because you were kidnapped and stolen and don't know where the fuck you are, rightfully so, because they wiped your memory, not just drugged you for one night like Diddy. They wiped your memory to fully take advantage of you, not for just one night, but to reincarnate you into a human body as an ET for many of us. They would gosh, here I go again. There's just so much to say. Now, the problem is when you learn telepathy, you talk in your mind and you talk with your words. And in your mind, the communication isn't a language only. It's symbols. It's pictures of things that get relayed so fast, like the speed of light. And you add vocal verbiage on top of that. It's like in lines of communication, multitasking at like a high speed, freaking 300-mile-an-hour train going. And only those that are on that level can read and understand what you're talking about. They can see what you just sent to them. That's with ETs. And so my problem with this earthly realm is I speak, it's like when people call it like gibberish or Spanglish, or when people mix two languages, that's basically what I'm doing. It's like I'm mixing telepathy with verbiage to humans or uneducated or unevolved ETs or ET/humans that are watching these videos. And so I don't mean to do that, but I'm translating so much. And not only am I translating what I'm channeling, I'm translating how I would speak with Jesus. So please bear with me, because the whole point is to get you guys all to speaking or learning telepathy so you can connect to the main source, the all. And I mean, there's only one, being me, that gets access to speak freely to the all. But the problem is it leaves me open to the dark and the light, and the dark and the light know what's going on up here. It's hard to protect the thoughts. And I was talking about that the other day, the flower of life. This kind of is in the last video I was trying to describe you guys something about the flower of life. Add some sacred geometry into here, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up, and then look at this with sacred geometry, which would mean a bunch of take all these dots and put some lines connecting from one to the other, and you'll understand more about the last message of what I was trying to help people understand, what it is like when you are evolving and getting closer to the gods of light and able to communicate with more of them versus, say, just one ancestor of yours. Let me pause to see what Jesus else wanted me to say, because I really didn't want to record nothing this morning, but he got this you're gonna have to, and so he just pressed what I do is I since I was a wee little lad, in diapers. I follow his energy, and it's led me to so much in life and so much understanding. So even in my daily practice, I'm tapped into his energy, and he literally will be like, it's time to record. And he'll just take my hand and boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, damn it. Like, I'm not ready. So you guys are getting me. I'm not ready. I'm fucking tired. I just went under a beatdown all night because of the video that I just put that's still uploading. And when that happens, it's like, as I said in that video, it gives me inflammation. I'm just aching. There's people that can literally hypnotize you. They can twist your body up. They can, there's real gods with real power that you do not see because you're not supposed to see. And now a lot of them are coming to surface because they're so filled with vanity or they need money. Because Jesus said he would take their money, he'd take their homes, he'd take their cars, he'd take their food. It didn't stop touching me. And he's really confused right now because since they've found all the bodies under the churches and they know where they're at, and they've located a lot of the grandmasters, and they are going through their judicial process, which anyone that's been involved in the judicial process, as above, so below, it can take a very long time unless you can prove beyond a reasonable doubt. So Jesus had told me a long time ago, I'm sorry that I ever chose to use you as bait. And I was just like, it took a long time for me to understand what he meant by use me as bait. What do you mean? And you said when I made it to Hawaii that I made it. And then when I made it from Pahoa to Hilo, moving north on this island to Kona, you were like, you made it. And I've still gone under constant Star Wars attack, things people can't see. My body, my ankles had swollen so big, something I've never experienced in my life. My toes were oozing things, and it was after I had gone into the hospital for a blood clot. And there's just so much to say about that whole story and understanding. The bottom line is that they shot my immune system over a blood clot by putting shit in. I was only down to a third of my blood. I was getting cut internally, bleeding twice a month, very heavily, wearing a cup and a pad, and I would empty that cup easily 5-6 times a day. If for anyone that knows, that's in those cups is at least a half ounce, and the most a woman should bleed on her period monthly, not bi-monthly, is 3.5 ounces. And I was doing that in one day easily. But it was spiritual warfare attacks. So when you see the whole Star Wars and their lightsabers, that's trying to help people understand we can be touched with light frequency. It can be very damaging and make us bleed internally. If it does, your stool may be black. The problem is, if you're ET, you can heal from it really fast unless you're under constant attack. For me, I would heal from it so fast, by the time I get to the doctor, they're like, well, we see hints of this or we see hints of that, whatever the issue was, whether it was acid reflux burning the hell out of my throat to where normal is 9 and below, but I'm at a 63, and what I'm eating doesn't make sense. I have a healthy diet. Doctors are always being perplexed. I finally figured out that I've been under spiritual warfare since I was a kid. The thing is, they try to do it through vaccinations and things like fluoride. And my inner knowing and following Jesus, well, I couldn't control the vaccinations, but your body, over a certain amount of years, it will get rid of the toxins that are in you through your blood, coming out your body, right? Your urine, your everything, right? But the thing is that at this point in time, the vampires and demons of this world that now work together, who were from 2 different realms, the demons occupying Earth and the vampires occupying a middle realm. People called it the Dark Ages on Earth, but that's not what was happening. It was another realm. They're vampires that don't do good with sunlight. And with all the universe and the different levels, okay, of the planetary system, right? Okay, they banished their children to Earth, or they let them get lost, trafficked, stolen, as above, so below. So what's happening here is happening and beyond, not by the masses, just some low down, dirty fucking people. So my Earth Father turns out to be one of the Kamehamehas, which is a big deal, because before I knew that he was one, I knew that only the first and the fifth, as far as what Jesus communicated to me, are honorable. And the fifth is E.T. human, is my understanding. The first Kamehameha is a original E.T. That's a good E.T. Even though he got into cannibalism, it's like how Jesus showed me. Well, just in simple terms, a lot of us grow up in families like myself, and we're shown the ways of life, and that's all we know. So you have kids out here that are growing up in, like, say, polygamous family. That's all they know. They think it's normal till that its inner knowing says, and I don't agree, and they run away from that, right? Well, all those children like that, I needed to try to guide the royals of it, that we had our royalties stolen from us. I had to guide us all to Hawaii, because Hawaii is the ones that I was guided to. Our bodies are here in Hawaii, and they're being held captive. And same thing with, like, my Earth sister, my family, period, both sides, from my mother and my father, my younger brothers and my twin and my older brother and sister. And they all thought I was crazy, because I didn't have the way to explain that. I was like, we just need to, like, get out of this mortgage and rental trap. And I'm here in Hawaii. It's like the land before time. Like, I made it to the Great Valley. The only problem is the Great Valley got overtaken with literally vampires and demons, and this area was saved for me by Kamehameha. And only ETs are supposed to rule, and that's a whole nother thing. That's why when I refer to royals, they're extraterrestrials, and they were signed up to rule with love and light, not with condemning people and unfairly, and using them for slaves. And there's just so much to say about it. So it's been really hard for me, because I don't talk to any of my siblings anymore, because they just don't get and understand me in a nutshell. There's been things spoken about me that have not been true or fair, and I've been a source of love and light to them and their families. And sometimes you just have to walk away, because they're not my actual lineage. We're put into an Earth family. What's really fucking crazy is, as it all comes out, it's like, do I go there? God, it just seems like that will take so much time. So, for instance, in my own journey, I'm pulled to so many people, and I reach out, and a lot of them are celebrities. Well, the royals are the celebrities. So you have, like, Grandmaster ETs and their vanity working in the celebrity world, acting, modeling, doing whatever. And then you have their extensions, and they take care of their extensions and in the dark or the light. So that's why you see a lot of these streamers making all this kind of money. They're for the dark side, because they're keeping you all distracted. And as long as they keep you distracted, they'll be paid. People like me that our families' royals were stolen by these people. They do everything to keep us down. Hurt us when we go into hospitals. Hurt us just out in general public. People can't see it. People don't understand what's going on with us. Just trying to run us to the ground. The more we try to ascend, the more they send They're ancients that plan on not evolving, that plan on ruling Earth to come attack us. And the thing is, people can really cloak, meaning they can be invisible. And they've even shown it now, that there's this fabric and these mirrors that you can put them up, and it's really hard to differentiate. Is something going on right there, you know? And the fairy tales of like someone having a cloak that made them invisible is absolutely real. So when you have someone who has the power to cloak, and you have someone who has the power to teleport, that's why Superman and the whole like like phone booth is created, is because there's certain longitude and latitude that's been created that people can teleport in and out of. A lot of the churches offer that. The Twin Towers that got burnt down offer that. There's a lot of these skyscrapers, they're portals. The Seattle Space Needle, it's a spaceship, and it's high enough so if it floods the spaceship, for a very small few that can teleport up into the spaceship from wherever they are in Washington and get to their spaceship, can leave. But they make it like it's just this city attraction, and they allow the people and the public to come, so they're not raising flag to the Galactic Federation, who's supposed to be watching over the kids that got sent to Earth for discipline camp, just to say the least, okay? But really, it's like Disneyland, a bunch of kids getting stolen. So like even Disneyland, there's like, you know, all those little fantasy buildings around. Well, it can go to an underground system where these people can like pick their kid that they snatched that day. It's a sick system, like, of trafficking. And the ETs, because we don't die, they hold our bodies hostage at a church, shit, probably Disneyland, many places, Christian, Catholic churches, under their floors. If you try to look it up, there's Jesus finally showed it to me after revealing it to me that this is happening. He finally was able to show it to me. There was a December 15th post of, it looked like a Catholic church, and they had to pull up the tile, like a big, like 3x4 tile of the flooring, and pull out a casket that looked like maybe 4 feet, like a little person. And he told me, that's Paul McCartney. And then he told me, I've been showing you Paul McCartney. You see the guy who's always like in his vanity doing his streaming with his son, and his look at his son's face. And then he took me to a picture of Paul McCartney and the band, and I was like, oh my God, that guy, one of the 4, looks like the guy kissing the little kid all the time. Like, this guy's always like, I just love you, and, you know, did you have a good day? But like overly affectionate. It's kind of weird. And the little kids, you know, sometimes it's like, you know, he can't speak. He's twisted up. He looks like he might be 5 years old. And this is when he Jesus started explaining the cloning. I mean, through the process of Jesus teaching me more about cloning, and how the real celebrities are not who people think they are right now. Some of them still are, but they've been doing it. The ETs of light, the gods of light who are saving us all, have been doing a switch and flip, because all these celebrities have been trapped in this Hollywood system, and by the grandmasters. And some, like the one I'm telling you with Paul McCartney, see, the human body with an ET body will age slowly. An ET ages in its own body, ages very, 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 very slow, or not at all. It depends if they're under spiritual warfare. Me, I'm in a human body. That's not mine. I do not look like this. I am told I am actually a man, and I've been shown the drawing that I said yesterday. I said it was a drawing. It's a painting, but you know, it's art, an artistic picture that Jesus said he drew of me, because I'm his lineage. Me and him are closely related, and from the same pack, if you will. That looks very much alike, and we had red hair. So, but the thing is, he says I am more, when I get back to my actual body, I look way more Asian, like dark skin Asian. And that's a whole nother thing. Like, I'm like, where do I go from there? No. Oh, Paul McCartney. So, I'm not a Beatles fan. I don't know much about them, you know. And the thing is, the beauty of me only watching and paying attention to media that I have been pulled to by Jesus is why I have so much confirmation that I'm on the right path, I'm doing the right thing, and I'm giving the right message. He's giving me to everything in the chaos theory. Look up what chaos theory means. And he did it for my own protection and the protection of the overall plan. But it's been very confusing to me until, I mean, it still is confusing to me, but at least now that I know that he operates in the chaos theory, his strategy is the chaos theory a lot of the times. It helps me understand that I don't get to know it all right now. And I need to just take action and trust and discern that it's him who's telling me to take action on X, Y, and Z. It's a very tightrope to walk, to say the least. It's tough. And that's why the few of us that know how to, it's important that others don't stay on their high horse like they know it all because they can channel, you know, or they can read cards. That's just the beginning. That's like kindergarten to it all, you know. There's a lot more into communicating with the beyond, especially if you only have access to like your ancestors, where I have access to the all. Okay, so that means I have access to your ancestors, good and bad, unfortunately. I don't involve myself with the bad, but the bad loves to involve themselves with me and confuse me and throw me off, because if I meet my metamorphosis back to my original body, I get a download of who in my old memories. And I have been upgraded to be, I'm the chosen one to know all the knowledge for all of you. And knowing my own history, your all's history, why you guys got down here, who sent you there. There's a lot of people in this universe that don't want me to give that information to you because it would be very incriminating for them, and for like lifetime upon lifetime. Their prison sentence and their physical pain. Like, so if you take Paul McCartney and whoever's like twisting this young soul up that's like, you know, can't speak, can't talk. This is he's under the control of his grandmaster again, not only as a Beatle in the music group and having him next to him as one of their 4 bandmates. Now this guy is put a clone out that looks like him, but there's this little being that looks like Paul McCartney with his face like all scrunched up. But this guy's got, the Grandmaster has Paul McCartney right in his hands. Paul McCartney must be a very powerful person, but he's actually a little person, is my understanding. So that could mean he lives in the realm of dwarfs. And that just means they're short people. He's not actually tall. And the casket that they pulled up in Brazil was his. So that's another thing. They'll take the ETs, they'll take our bodies of the ETs and the ET humans, and they'll put them far away from us. And we got to connect with our ancestors, because our ancestors will lead us back to where we're closest to the body, so it's easier for them to arrange for us to be killed in our human body, because when we go through our transition, it will be quicker. The closer we are to the body, the transition will be quicker. And then they can get us back from who stole us. And that's what it means to be found. And if we don't go back, that's why that boxer, Anthony Joshua, went to Nigeria, because it's actually his master that took him over. That's not actually Anthony Joshua, is my understanding. It's another ET, and that's why they survived the car crash. To the commoners, he died at first, right? But he came back to his wait, sorry, I'm getting that wrong. The original, that I'm wrong in that, sorry. Because it was a switch. So his master got put in his body, who was an ET and can survive the crash. The other two, there's a whole lot more to that. I'm not going to get into that. So what you guys were looking at, even if you look at the fight, the muscle on Anthony Joshua's, if we're talking about mirror, like you looking at me on my right side looking at the screen, Anthony Joshua's muscle, it looks fake. It looks weird. And so I was looking, because Jesus was telling me, pay attention. If you look at the bodies of these people, like even Jennifer Lopez, they're doing all these postings and stuff. The body is fluctuating. Even IShowSpeed, because they're doing a switch and a flip. So they're switching in the masters and the grandmasters, putting them in the body of who they've been puppeteering. People like IShowSpeed, people like Jennifer. I don't think Justin's been swapped out yet. Selena, Cynthia Ervino, Ariana Grande. These people are the grandmasters that got stuck in the body, like the movie Get Out, of the people they were puppeteering, because when they went through their initiation, they traumatized them so severely. They have been found, because that's also another thing, like, because of telepathy and all that, if we go through severe trauma, our family can find us. And it's really not like the fun way to go, but it's like it might be your way out to go through severe trauma, because some reason it sends all these signals and it's like, oh, there's our person. That's where they are, in this big wide universe. Okay. So Anthony Joshua, why you guys saw him in the car accident is because both him and Jake Paul were replaced with the clones at some point. A whole lot to tell you about that. They weren't replaced at the same time. But in the travel back to Nigeria, there's something with this new year in the portals. People are trying to get back to where their roots are from, to be closer to their actual body. And even the grandmasters, especially, because it was like the gods of light pulled a switcheroo on them and said, oh, here, walk in their shoes. Now you have to experience what they've been experiencing. You put on the show, and we'll decide what we're going to do with you later, and we're going to hold your body hostage. So it's this big mess of time that really did evolve from, like, if you take Game of Thrones, my Earth Mother, she's the one who killed everybody by poison and got the whole royal lineage that I'm having to pull back. She killed us all off with poison. But the thing is, her lineage of vampires was bad. And I have been surrounded by them on this island. And it's been the white ones, okay? Not her, because she's not pure. She actually her lineage comes from Terenza. And you should look it up, because a lady popped into the United States from Terenza and didn't know how she got here. It was a switch and flip on her to incarcerate her, because a lot of them are going to be incarcerated where the bodies are, and a lot of them will be incarcerated in Hawaii. And Hawaii was supposed to be left for me to rule and to help with the evolution, but they've blocked me in every way. But when Jesus finally located the actual body, he said they've lost it, because now that I have your body, and while they focus on you, I'm getting everybody else's bodies and getting them back, and they're waiting on the mothership that people call 3i Atlas, and there's more than one. and there's sub motherships, and to, you know, go to certain areas and then meet at the main mothership. But there's two big main motherships, and so if you have a pull to get to your roots, it quite potentially could, you have to learn to discern the energy, because there's some very strong people out here. Most of them have been taken down, but there's still some to get. The reason why you're getting pulled to a certain demographic or geographical location, sorry, but demographic too, is it may not even, you might be put in the wrong body, right? You might be like me, but looking like me, but your roots are in Asia, but they hid your body in Hawaii. You know, my roots are from Asian cultures, but they put me in a body that was of all these mixed nations, which some of them are actually mine, but I look way different, and it's all to keep us from finding out who we are, so we're not near our body. And that when we do, if we do, say, jump off a building, in our human, those of us that are in a human body, because not all ETs are in their human body. Some were blessed and fortunate enough that their lineage has enough power to put them in their actual body. But the ones that are in their human body, those ones are in a human body that's a clone of someone else's fucking body. We got to get back closer to our body. So if we at some point the human body can die. It's very hard for an ET to die in a human body, and they don't die in their own body. Okay, so they might look like they drowned for 3 minutes, but they'll come back. They may have even drowned for 15 minutes, and people are like, at that point they should be brain dead. Why are they not brain dead? It's because they're ET. Okay, so if you're ET in the human body, it's very important to get back to your roots and connect with your ancestors, learn who your roots are. It's going to be tough, because the closer you get to that, the more the dark is going to come for you, literally beating you up to where it's not like, I mean, you just can't see it. By the time you see it outwardly like you do with me, like, I mean, like, this is like not me. In my health, even in a human body, I'm much smaller, but the attacks will make your body swell like this. Even when you get punched, your body swells up. Well, when you get punched with electricity and frequency and vibration, and I'm not talking about just from the phone, I'm getting attacked from all angles. What they're doing to the general population with the air and the water and all that, I'm getting attacked that way. But I'm also getting attacked, like literally them cloaking and coming to wherever I'm at. They do it at night. I can feel them. They attack my heart space. Like, it's like someone's sending constant electrical current into my heart, and I just have to sit there and weather it out. And it's like a boxer. They'll attack certain organs or the entire body. One way or another, it's still one attack of an organ affects the whole fucking body. Because imagine someone who's in a constant panic attack, meaning their heart is doing that. But I'm a calm individual, so naturally I've learned to be that through the ADHD, and especially more with these attacks. It's very crucial to learn to transmute the energy and ride it out, and not get too evolved in like something that will make my heart race, like working out, unfortunately, because it's those moments they can just drop me easier. And so it's like I'm like that kid cancer patient in the hospital that has to take the punches and wait for my family to come get me. That's what I'm waiting on. The family that loves me, not the family that has been doing wrong and can't bear to be caught. And so, something else I'm supposed to say. He wants me to tell you guys something about me and him. What is that? Because there's a lot you guys couldn't know about me and Jesus. No. You want me to say that? Well, I've wanted to say it in the past, but he said it wasn't smart, so I'm surprised he wants me to say it now. And even in this moment, I have to discern who's telling me to say that, right? Because it could be very detrimental, but he wants me to tell you guys. He says we'll be coming together soon. And that means seeing each other in the flesh. So there's this big misconception with the religions and those that identify with Jesus Christ or any religion. They say that being gay is bad. And his whole thing is it's not. And that my earth mother told me when I was younger, you know, when I realized that I didn't have an attraction to either sex at first. I was just, because you know what? I had an attraction to a spirit, a person, their aura, their energy. And I wasn't finding anyone that was at all worthy. It took me till I was like, really till I was like 23 before I started saying, ooh, they look good, you know? And it took me even longer to be like, I want sex from them, you know? Like, I want to have intimacy. The religions have lied to everybody because they've tried to keep people away from their divine partnership by putting them in the wrong body and then telling them that being gay is wrong. So they'll put two people who are supposed to be together in the beyond that were together, and tell them, teach, you know, get them pulled to religions that tell them being gay is bad. And that's why you often hear people saying like, I'm in the wrong body, because they probably are. And it could be a gender thing that they're in the wrong body on top of it, or they just in the wrong body of the same gender. The bottom line is me and him are divine partners. And he said if everyone knew who I was that are elite, they would come for me even harder. So he couldn't tell them that, but he told them, do not touch her. And you're not supposed to touch royals, which that's what I am. It doesn't matter who the hell you are. That's why people should just not touch people, because you don't know if you're touching a royal and you may have to pay for it big time. I think people should pay for it regardless. But the thing is, because we're here to help guide and lead the world, we can't help the people the ETs that don't and aren't willing to do that. But we can't afford people to interfere with our energy, and it's not sacred. Some packs, some races, we hold our energy very, 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 very sacred. And that's why you'll see like a little kid even be like, don't touch me. Don't, because they can not only feel it, but it alters what's inside of them. And it doesn't feel good because you're not part of their family, their respected family, their lineage. There's many things to say for it, but most importantly, you're not their divine partner. And I mean in love. And so in this moment, it's just very weird to me. He's telling me to tell you guys, we're both alphas. And but he always tells me how like I'm more powerful than him. So the world's gonna have a very big surprise, because when I'm returned to my body, I actually have more power for him unless I grant him to be my equal. And I definitely will. The other part is, he said none of us would have been saved without me, but I'm like, well, then you too. And he showed me this movie called Deadpool and Wolverine, and he was describing on like, that's us. Like the roles interchange, but like that's us, and we're holding the energy together for this world to be saved in a way that they don't know. And that's like me being attacked while he's collecting everybody to get them home and get them to the mothership, and to not like take revenge, but give lesson and take revenge for the grandmasters that have been abusing us all. They were not supposed to master us. They weren't supposed to be a grandmaster. They were supposed to be leaders, you know, if they were going to be any positions of power. So now that he's revealing or having me reveal that, only certain people knew that. A lot of people have been hired as mercenaries with practical magic and literal, like, military people to come. And that's why he's taking out so many planes and helicopters and things like that. It's because these are people who signed a contract that they would come kill me or attempt to. And he's trying to make it very clear. And he told them all, and he even told me, I will tear this world up if they touch you. And if they block your finances, I'm going to tear this world up. I'm going to take their money. And he would tell me that every day for so long. And eventually just got to the point of this last year. And he's like, all right, I'm going to start taking their money. I'm going to start taking their houses. I'm going to start taking their cars. And it started, the first that I saw as far as media was Dubai. He reminded me that when he takes out people's networks and stuff, there's things that he's doing that I'm not going to see. But just trust that he is working to get me home. It's harder than I think. He is one man discerning against a lot of foes. He has some other help that I'm not going to list, put out there for all of our safety and just the overall plan to get us all home. But when you look at, say, like cartels and stuff, they're ran by a grand master. That means they're a vampire, a demon, or a vampire demon, or an extraterrestrial of some sort that has betrayed their race and just the overall race. And he wants me to say more about us. What? He wants me to tell you guys what he tells me all the time. And he has to remind me to feel and know that it's him. Because sometimes with all of the things that come at me, I get angry and upset because they will fool you, you know. And he'll remind me, you know, to feel him and say, I'm your husband. I love you. I will protect you. And I will provide for you. And the reality is he has. Even though I'm in the circumstance I am, he still has made sure the rent has been paid. But the thing is, it's been through like the Catholic Church. Then they call themselves Hope Services, and they cover it up and hide that they're under the Vatican. And there's a whole lot of things because we have to go settle things with the Vatican and what's going on there. And I don't know what he's done there. And he's got the monks marching across the U.S. My roots are actually a lot of Asian in there, but because of the vampires, I have Irish and I have German mixed in me, but I have Vietnamese, Chinese, and Japanese. Well, he says that I'm king of all nations, so there's a lot that's mixed in me, and those are the people who are helping him and coming on the what they call 3-Eye Atlas. Those people are coming to get their kin because he can't do it all alone. And the small part of my lineage that aren't vampires, that thank God they received me and him, even though we are vampires. We're vampire, we're demon, and we are whatever the Asian, because there's Asian vampires too. Like, it's a lot, guys. I'm just getting overwhelmed trying to put it in a nutshell for you, because a lot of us at this point are so mixed because the white vampires took over all the other planets, or most of them at least. And then they made Earth a place to hide, steal us from, and get away from it and hide from the Galactic Federation that is good, and hide under the Galactic Federation that is bad, that was put in place. Basically, the Galactic Federation is people from all over the universe, different planets, that act like, say, the Feds or the CIA. The problem is they're interwoven in the Feds, and they're interwoven. They are the CIA. So, like, CIA is like things don't scare me, but for y'all to be scared of is the CIA, because that's like the vampires. I'm sure they partner with the demons because we're on Earth, which is their place of occupancy. The thing is, Jesus and the gods of light are shutting down all the portals to Earth. So it's very Hawaii is like one of the last places those portals are going to be open. And why I needed to guide people to Hawaii. I don't know, I kind of like don't like saying Hawaii because it's off of the German language. It doesn't feel natural. And even then, he's like, it's not Hawaii. That's the name they came up with. And the Hawaiians are intruders too, whether they realize it or not. And I'm like, oh my God. And even then, there's so many other races on this island now, Japanese, Philippines, and all these grandmasters have priced out, as they call it, the Hawaiians. But Jesus has no problem with that because they're not the true rulers of this land anyway. The true Maori are more Asian looking and dark skin, almost black looking and black. And they are very racist against blacks. So like even me, because I think my features, people are very put off by me. But there's a lot of people from Terenza that are on this island and they're not supposed to be here. A lot of people from the purebloods, like Alaskan, over here, multiplying. They shouldn't be. People from Indonesia, a lot of places, they just started coming to the islands and they're not supposed to be here. They know they're not supposed to be here. But they didn't have their hands slapped. And yet, so they just saw it as me and Jesus wouldn't rise and we wouldn't reunite. And he's saying, still tell about us. Will we go back? Like, where we were from? He's like, imagine being someone's husband. What would you do if somebody had your person? And if someone hurt your person? That's where he's at. And that's why the world is being destroyed. Many reasons on top of it, but me and him are top level leaders that are supposed to, we're not even supposed to be in this room, but we got stolen here to it, or I did, and he did at different points, where he was Genghis Khan and he was the man they call Jesus. He doesn't want to do all this destruction. Oh, tell him about the mermaids. There truly are mermaids, and that we also derive from that. And I would often have people tell me like, oh, you're like a little fish, you know. And what else about it? You're not supposed to eat fish. People are not supposed to eat fish. They're not supposed to eat meat. And the reason why, like say Taiwan, you see them cooking dogs, well, those are gods. And I'm not saying that's all that they subject it to, but oftentimes why you see one race eating, like of human, eating, or one, like, take one area of the map, Taiwan, German, whatever, people eating lobsters. You see people with fingers like this. They're sea people. They're lobsters. There's not many of them because they don't have many. If one race, you only see a few people, it's because they're most likely just stolen. If there's a lot of people in that race, like there's a lot of elk, that's a lot of blood vampires, even though they're elk. Blood and meat, they're blood and meat vampires. That's their shapeshift, is like to be like elk, okay? So like a mermaid, those are actually real. The sea creatures are not, they're just other gods. They're just not on land. And So what people are doing by eating cows or eating goats, they're eating their rivals. So their grandmasters know what's going on, and they haven't taught their people to not. And so they're trying to make sure that the grandmasters don't ever get back to their actual body or shapeshift, because sometimes punishment is you can't leave animal form. So you can't be in human form to hurt people. But some are so powerful, you'll see like a big white elk or moose, like a albino one. Or you will see albino rabbit. These are big time gods that are vampires, okay? But when you see really massive animals, it's likely, or humans, it's likely that they're God, but it's gotten to the point over the last, I would say, decade, they have been giving those benefits to people that are not gods. They've been making the gods in twisted up bodies like Paul McCartney in this little kid's body, but they got a clone of a 83-year-old Paul McCartney. That's not Paul. They have so many of us in our bodies, so they're trying to prevent us from getting to transform back to our God body. Pressing on me. He's like, people are coming in through the portals in the waters. That's why sometimes, like, you might see a plane flying very low or a helicopter very low and pulling someone out of the water in the middle of the ocean. It's because they came in through a portal. And those are probably people coming in this time frame for me. Whales on the hook. Oh, he's saying people don't want us to connect because of how powerful we are together. And that's the same for those of you and your divine partner. So the time when I finally make my metamorphosis back to my original body, I will get a download that I know everything. So I'll be able to connect you guys in all over the universe and this realm with your divine love, your divine partner. They don't want that to happen, because then once that happens, they can't use you guys like slaves. So that's why they put us in, one of us, in different bodies. That's why they separate us between realms. That's why some of us get put into families that are just, they're not ours, and they're going to treat us like shit. Or just not very nice, not very supportive. The gods of light are almost complete in pulling us all out. Well, he said, I'm next. But then it's like there's still some other people gotta get. But he says he's done. He says he's done. He just needs to come get me. Oh, but people are trying to block that from happening. Nikki. If they can keep me on the hook, around the universe, Sorry, he's telling me something. If they can keep me on the hook, they can basically get our whole family lineage and the ones that have escaped and that are making things very loud. But he's like, we're almost there. Because when y'all find out who mama is, not my mother and my father, because they are bad. I'm talking like, say, grandparents, so to speak. The world is gonna be fucking amazed at my whole lineage of royals and the connections and the fairy tales that have been told to us that are actually quite real. So like when he told me I'm dragon, I was like, someone told me that, and I thought that was just kind of ridiculous. He's like, you're the last dragon. You're the true last dragon. And that he wasn't even the dragon. It was because we are like twins, say. But in the packs, there's not like incest, and but we come from the same pack, and our, say, grandfather, so to speak, he granted me with the ability of, it's like the Avatar movie, and Papa got free. And he originally was the last dragon because we were stolen while we were younger and trafficked and used, to marry. And they were going to use us to produce, like, baby farm with all of their kids so they can have our bloodline, me and him. And there's a lot that's gone on in between. But the whole point about this is Papa was never to be released, and he is. And him and Mama are very powerful together, and they're what's righteous about this whole universe. And then there's me and Jesus. And no disrespect to anyone watching, but I haven't met anyone more righteous than us four. And I see why we've been put into the position that we are, to bring equality and love and light to this world, for those that deserve it, and justice to those that deserve to be incarcerated and more extreme circumstances. But to also, if we can, create a way of evolution for everyone else. Is that it? I'm getting drained. When I leave, he's saying they're trying to prevent me from leaving this realm, because when I leave this realm, it's all done. When I'm out of reach of them constantly attacking me to keep me from safely metamorphosizing, because once you go through your metamorphosis, you're gonna need still time to heal, as he puts it. It's like when a kid grows really fast over summer. He's like, but when you go back to your own body, it's like such a change, especially for me, because I have upgrades, and I'm going to be even taller than I was before, which was, I tell them that. So I used to be 7'3.5" is what he said, where we come from. Nobody was supposed to be taller than me in the world, but people have been granting their children on earth to be taller. And so he says by the time I have my upgrades and everything, I'll be at least 10 foot tall. And he's telling me my sushas will be in transition, but not stopping at, will be at least 22. And I'm like, but he has shoes for me, so it's okay. And he knows my size. So he's like, it's your upgrade. because of everything that he says I did on Earth. And I'm like, well, 73.5 is tall enough for me. And he's like, no, the land of, when people talk about giants, that's all real, because it's like your measure of commitment to the universe and the world, and your good deeds. You get a strong body, you get height, you get powers even. And he keeps telling me I'll have a Pokemon card. And then he shows me how I don't know shit about Pokemon. And then he tells me how people have these. He shows me a couple like postings where people are all excited over what they call a God pack. And I assume that means a pack of gods. And he's like, they're going to come out with a whole new series once you leave Earth. And they're going to, can't wait to get their hands on your card. And I'm like, but what about yours? I feel like we would have both have one, because I feel that he's been just as, not just as, I would say more instrumental as far as the physical work of it all, because I just can't, and I've been holding things down so everyone could focus on me and save the rest of y'all. And it's a lot. When it all comes out, you guys will understand the significance of our roles in that and what it's done to us emotionally, physically, and that, you know, there's a lot of people that they couldn't beat him, so they joined him, and we didn't do that. We didn't sell ourselves or others out. And what we've done to what we both had to have gone through for this evolution into the new era, and people to no longer be taken advantage by these vampires and these demons, and living in fear of the grandmasters of those, and to create a new planet where people can evolve in and not be abused or feel like they have to sell their selves, their body, their mind, their soul. We've put a lot of beyond what y'all can even fathom. I look, I'm sure, just like a commoner to people, and y'all just don't know. One little thing. I've said it before. He says that everyone will know who I am, because if they don't trust and believe it now, when I hit my metamorphosis, they will know, and that they will see a very tall God at some point, because I have to go in a progression, like I have to grow from where I would normally be 7 foot 3.5 to 10 foot at least. He says I will also have what he says, I'll have a third eye. And I was afraid at first. He's like, no, he asked if I want one, how I feel about having one first. And I was like, no, I'm gonna look crazy like an alien. I don't know about that. And he was like, but I like it. And I'm like, well, you're the only one I'm worried about liking it. So if that's what you are gifting me, then okay. But can I have jewelry that, you know, might cover it? Sometimes I reveal it and sometimes not. And he's like, yes. But he says, I'll have a third eye. It was kind of like it's his decision, but I could have input. And I decided to just like let him do his thing. And he showed me like some AI of someone having like a third eye. And he said it's like where the Cyclops derives from, but obviously I have 3 instead of just 1. But there's a lot of understanding behind that. Like, it's not like, oh, I just have a third eye. And he's like, you're the all-seeing eye. And I'm like, he's like, and they will know. So when we do go to clean some other things up and, you know, get people through their transition home, they will know your God by your powers, your third eye, and your height. So I didn't have a third eye in the beyond, but now that I've been upgraded, that will show everybody as symbology who the true all-seeing-eye is, that the Illuminati is not, it was good, evil people turned it bad. The Illuminati was to illuminate things, illuminate people, the world, just to say it, you know, in layman's terms. It wasn't to be the secret society hurting people and pressuring people to do things like sacrificial of someone they loved. And that's a whole nother thing that I've learned, because some of the people he brought me to in the industry, he's like, yep, they sacrificed their brother and their mom, or, you know, they sacrificed somebody, but some of them, they were put down here wrongfully, could have been by their brother or their mom, and they were people that needed to be ended. And that's what he told me. Some people understand they're gonna have to die. They will have the gift of non-existence, but after they serve their time. So I'll leave it there for now. What he's saying, yeah, they tapping into mine, which is why I'm getting tired, not by giving the message to you, is that they're wearing me down so I don't give the message. But that's a lot for you guys to chew on, think about, and we'll leave it there for today.